Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz test postmortem, a postmortem of my Blitz game number 444. I kicked off with e4 and my opponent played the very unusual move here, b6. This is known as Owen's defense. Owen was a British, I think, chess player. Anyway, played this opening against Morphy and actually won a game, but then Morphy won the second game in their match. So anyway, it's not an unheard of opening, just rare. And a little bit passive for black, although there's some interesting sidelines. Anyway, white normally just grabs the center with d4 and then bishop b7. That's the idea, putting pressure on the on the pawn. And there are different ways to defend it, but the most common way to defend it is bishop d3. And now normally black would proceed with e6 here, opening up another diagonal for his dark squared bishop. And he has a setup like the Queen's Indian defense. So it's an okay way for black to play. It's kind of you're sort of not claiming a lot of space in the center, but you have some counterattacking chances, and you get your opponent into unusual lines that he may not be familiar with. But there's also one really tactical line I have to mention here. Sometimes, and this game, this was played. There was a game that was played back in the 17th century that went f5 here, with the idea that if you take the pawn, then the bishop will take here and win the rook in the corner, which is trapped. So at first sight, this looks a little bit scary for white, but it turns out that also black has been weakened by this pawn push. His king side is weakened. So there's a very instructive way. There's a very instructive way to play this, which is you can just take the pawn, and when he grabs over here on g2, you just come out here with your queen and give this check. And now black is in pretty big trouble. So g6 is the only move to stop the check, and then you can take that pawn. He can't take back because the rook is pinned. Well, the pawn is pinned against the rook. If he takes back, you'll take there. Actually, I think there maybe is even a mate there. So yeah, that's a mate. So he can't take it all. It's not just about the pin. It's about the mate threat. And also knight f6, kicking the queen, doesn't work either, because there's a mate with, once again, g takes h7 check, and the king can't move, so knight takes queen is played, and then the bishop comes in here with check. So, and that's mate. The king has no spaces. So this fatally weakened diagonal is the can cause a lot of trouble for black. So the only move to stay in the game at all is bishop to g7. Gives the king a flight square on f8 when you deliver the check. So check, take the pawn with check, the king goes here, and then knight f3. You need to bring your knight into the game, and don't worry about the rook in the corner. So that's what's kind of instructive about this, is you just keep your pieces flooding forward, and you don't worry about the rook. And this is still winning. If the bishop takes, then the knight comes into e5. And you're threatening checkmate here. The only defense is to block with the queen. Now you can grab the knight with check, and of course if king takes, then you grab the queen, so he has to play rook takes, and then queen f5 check. And let's see, bishop f6, bishop h6 check. Yeah, more pieces keep coming in. Anyway. The line goes on, but you get the idea. You just get all your pieces into the attack, and black can't resist. So let's see, what's the strongest move here? Is not to take the rook, but to actually try and chase the queen away with knight f6, and then queen to g6. Okay, hitting the bishop here. And anyway, play continues. It's complicated, but white has a good attack here. And you see the engine is pretty optimistic about white's chances as well. So it's kind of a fun way to play if you ever get a chance to play that. So let's go back to where we were. Bishop d3. After bishop d3, he didn't try this f5 move. He played knight to f6. And let's see, knight c3 is an okay move here. Queen e2. Is the top choice in the opening book, but it looks like knight c3 is okay, and we're basically out of the book here. So I'm doing okay at the start. You see, there's just a typical kind of slight edge to white here, maybe a little bit more than other openings, but Yeah, this is a playable opening. He goes e6, opening up that diagonal for his bishop. I get my other knight out. He goes bishop b4, pinning my knight. I just castle here. Maybe that's a mistake. Oh yeah, it's a mistake because I'm leaving the e-pawn undefended here. I need to push on with e5. So I've been doing okay up to this point, but this move castles just blunders a pawn. And he spots this right away. He takes my knight. I take back. And then he can just grab the pawn here. So, but I have some compensation. It's not like black is winning here. But I make another mistake in just in a move or two. Let's see. I go queen e1. He is attacking my c-pawn. The engine wants to play rook e1. Let's check this out. Rook e1. What happens if he plays knight takes c3? Queen d2. Knight to d5, yeah, getting the knight back to a safe square, and then c4. So the chess engine wants to play 2 pawns down. It's sacrificed 2 pawns. But, well, white has a lot of development. So anyway, that's I didn't really think that was such a great way to play, actually. Let's see. The engine is rethinking it. Knight e5 or c4. Maybe c4, just moving the pawn out of the way is best. Anyway, I defended the pawn with queen e1. He goes knight f6, getting his pieces out. Cancel that. Oh, I'm sorry. He just retreated his knight. Knight f6 back. I went bishop a3 here. Yeah. So this is my second mistake. I'm allowing him to mess up my pawns here. I should probably do something about the knight here. Knight e5 is a move. Queen e3, defending the knight. Okay, those are playable moves. I play a bishop to a3, and so he gets to mess up my pawn. So I'm not only... Cancel that. He didn't take right away. Oh, he played d6 first. I guess I left this here for a while. I went rook b1. And then he took. Yeah, I knew this happened in the game. He took here. And so, not only am I a pawn down, but my structure is all messed up. So black is doing better here. But I do have the bishop pair, and I have open lines. So I have some chances in an attack. So I keep playing for the attack. He goes knight bd7. He's just going to play solidly here and try and hold on to his extra pawn. I go king h1 to clear the g file. He castles. Rook g1. And you see this is all proceeding okay for me. And after knight h5, maybe I have some chances to get in the game. I go queen e4, immediately setting up a threat on h7. He has to play g6. Let's see. Oh, he could have just played a knight to f6 too. Okay, he played g6. And bishop to c1. I want to get this bishop back in the game, maybe take advantage of the weakened dark squares. He goes queen e7. And I go bishop to h6. Okay, so I do sort of reduce his advantage here and get some activity for my pieces. So I'm doing okay under the circumstances. He lashes out with f5, kicking my queen. And now... I didn't spot this. I can just take the rook. It's when I take the rook, I'm hitting his queen. So this is a kind of a complicated sequence. But if I take his rook, he takes my queen, I take his queen, and he takes my bishop, and I take the pawn back. And the important thing is my bishop is not hanging at the end. So I have 2 rooks and a bishop, and he has a rook and 2 knights. So I've won the exchange, and I'm down some pawns. So that would be... the best way to play there. Queen e2 I played instead, and just getting away from the pawn, and still his rook is hanging. So we went rook to f7, and you can see I'm still in the game here. Actually, my attack is enough compensation for the pawn at this point, but I don't play it the best way. I had this idea of doubling rooks on the g file, and then maybe taking off this knight here, which the king... the pawn is pinned against the king, so if I have rooks doubled on the g file, this knight is hanging. And it doesn't have many... well, I can't say that. It has a good square to go to. But the bishop is covering it at the moment. The problem with rook g5 is it interferes with the bishop's defense of the f4 square, and he spots this right away. So rook g5 is where I go wrong in my attack. Let's see. Rook b to e1. Okay, this makes sense. putting rook over here and pressuring his backwards e-pawn. That's an idea. Or bishop to b5, getting this bishop out on a more active square. Okay, so there are ideas in this position. So this is my third mistake maybe in the game. He goes knight f4 here. And this is annoying because I'm losing one of my attacking bishops. Oh, cancel that. Where did I play? I played queen to e3. Doesn't make too much. He's I was expecting him just to grab the bishop here. But he plays knight to h3. And so I drop my rook back and attack his knight. But I missed a tactic, yeah. So this is my final big mistake. Yeah, rook to g3 just walks into a fork of the pawn. So where can the rook go? The rook should go back to g2. And then, well, I still have some chances here. But this knight on h3 is actually pretty annoying because I can't double my rooks on the g file, which is why I wanted to chase it away. Maybe I could follow up with a move like f4 here and try and chase the knight away with my queen. Anyway, that's the way to play it because rook g3 just loses big material here after f4. And there's no way out. If I move the queen, I give up the rook. So I play here and give up the bishop instead. But, well, let's just go through the rest of the moves. I never really get back into the game after this. I try and chase his knight around. But he plays this part well. And I never really had a shot here after this. Just was playing in the hopes that something might go wrong, but I end up in this endgame just a piece down. And a neat little finish. Let's see, with the rook here, I should have probably tried to defend. Well, actually, the engine is playing other moves. I was going to say, maybe I can try and defend here with rook here. Let's put one move on the board. How about this rook? I try to defend the f-pawn. Just rook f to e8, doubling this way and threatening mate. Yeah, it's not good. So c4 sort of ignoring this. He takes here, and now he has a nice little checkmate threat with the knight and the rook. That's a nice mating combination there. I probably need to take the knight off here, or rook to g2. Once again, is a way to defend, but he's still winning after that. So I just kept taking, and he mated me with this nice combination. The knight supports the rook, and the rook and also guards the escape square for the king. So cute mating pattern. If you haven't seen that before, it's a good one to know. Okay, so my opponent really got me in this one. But, well, hopefully you learned something from my mistakes. See you again soon. Bye.